Jim Fairlie, to be followed by Claire Baker. Around 4 minutes, Mr Fairlie.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I warmly welcome today's motion. It is all about government providing big-picture thinking and local communities filling in the details, according to their individual needs and situations, and that is exactly how it should be. And that's how we get community-led regeneration. Like many of my colleagues, I made a point on Saturday going out to visit a range of local businesses in and around my constituency to highlight Small Business Saturday. There's an incredible range of fantastic small businesses right across Perthshire, South and Kinrossshire, and I could start to list them all, Presiding Officer, but I don't think you're going to give me the length of time that I would need to do so. And as we all know, brevity is not my strong point at the best of times. Small businesses really are a vital part of our communities, and they absolutely deserve our support. And that support has probably never been more needed than now, with the COVID-19 pandemic having had such a big impact, particularly on the retail and hospitality sectors. Online shopping and large chains might offer convenience, but the independent retailers right on your own doorstep offer that as well. And as well as much more, individuality, craftsmanship and personal services are only some of the benefits you can expect from shopping with good local businesses. A well-known butcher in Perth City Centre, Beaton Lindsay from Lindsay Butchers and Sons, is one of those folk who just quite simply is part of the community. He knows his customers by name and often knows what they want before they even say a word. And Boris Johnson once crowed that £1 spent in Croydon is far more value to the country than £1 spent in Strathclyde. He was wrong, of course, as he always is, but let's rewrite that phrase. £1 spent in Crieff will do far more good for the local economy if it stays in Strathearn. And you can swap Crieff for Kinross or Medvin or Auchterarder. The principle remains the same. And I'm delighted the Minister mentioned our new local radio station, Radio Earn, so thank you very much for that, Minister. That's what is meant by phrases like circular economies and sustainable communities, and that is absolutely what Scotland Loves Local has to be all about. Encouraging and enabling local people to spend their money in local businesses, and by giving those businesses access to the technologies that will help them compete with the corporate giants and creating environments that will help increase footfall and activity, so building local wealth. When it comes to David versus Goliath, let's always try to be sure that we get right behind David. The Scottish Government has launched the £10 million multi-year Scotland Loves Local Fund to support local people, businesses and community partnerships. £2 million being made available this year, supporting up to 100 organisations to bring new creative projects and activities to towns and neighbourhoods. In my own constituency, that fund will help to support the Murray Fountain, an iconic local Victorian landmark in James Square in Crieff. And it will help the launch of the delivery of the multi-channel Christmas campaign across Perth and Kinross. Perth, where Christmas is made. This is a campaign that includes Perth City and Town's gift guide and a promotion of the Scotland Loves Local gift card to support and encourage and incentivise shopping locally. But it's not all about shopping. Scotland Loves Local agenda is also about tackling inequality and promoting community-led regeneration. Reticent as I am to see any silver line in the dark cloud of COVID, something that has come shining through has been absolutely wonderful in the way that communities in my constituency, as they have across the country, have come together to help those in need of support and to help one another. Through the toughest part... Absolutely.
Finlay Carr.
Thank you. I appreciate the member taking an intervention. Would you agree, though, that a one-size-fits-all growth plan doesn't always address the issues right down in a rural area, and we should look to more government support going to local groups to deliver some of the ambitions, particularly in the food and drink industry?
Jim Fairlie.
I don't have a lot of time, so all I'm going to say is that the government is doing exactly that, Finlay. I don't know where you've been sitting. Through the toughest part of lockdown, over 7,500 food parcels were delivered by 16 community organisations around Perth and Kinross. Community groups like Letham for All, Broke Not Broken and Kinross were all just fantastic. And I am delighted, incidentally, to see the diggers have moved in this week to start the transformation of the Letham Recreation Centre in a new community hub run for and by local people. I said earlier that I wasn't going to start listing local businesses, but I do want to highlight one great wee company that deserves our support right now, and I would refer this to Mr Lumsden. Michelle Maritz is a driving force behind Clootie McToot, and I have known her for a very long time. When I ran events before I came into this place, if I was looking for great quality local producers, Michelle was always one of the first names on my list. She began her business with a stall at a school fete and she moved on to farmers' markets, and she now has a shop in Abernethy, a mail-order business selling traditional clouty dumplings. So I was absolutely disgusted to learn that she's been subjected to simply appalling levels of online abuse by ill-advised morons. And if that's not Parliament to use such a word, Presiding Officer, I still think we need to call out that kind of moronic behaviour.
If you could close now, please. Thank you.
Yep. She was given this abuse for promoting her business, as I would have done myself in her shoes, at a festive food and drink market in Downing Street. I would urge you all to go and order your Christmas pudding from Cleety McToot in solidarity, but I'm pleased to say you can't. Her order book is now full, although I do understand you can still pick up a Christmas gift or two from her shop in Abernethy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Fairlie. I call